I tend to joke about things because I just don't know what else to do about an 18-month-old being tortured. But, that's where I'm at. I just can't.
Father of the baby Israel tortured is still being detained with his whereabouts unknown. So this story obviously is one that we've covered many times before. It's not the first time, but
I just can't.
The level of inhumanity that the Israelis have, just in general, they don't hide it, which is why, as I said before, our job, our responsibility here on this channel is to do everything in our capacity to make sure that everyone is well aware of who the Israelis truly are, how they have interceded our entire political, economic, governmental system, and we have to do away with them. Now, whatever happens to them once they are no longer in control, or we are no longer conscripted as a nation to their every whim, or any whim for that matter, is on them. That's their problem. Once we are no longer involved, we'll see how long they can handle it. But the Hasbara operation is going into overdrive to try to either suppress this story, deny that it happened, or insinuate that that's how we found the child. Why did this story end up getting global recognition? It wasn't because of the Israelis. It was because of a member of the Red Cross.
The Red Cross or the Red Crescent? The Red Crescent, you mean?
The Red Crescent, which I think is part of the Red Cross. They said they're the ones who blew the whistle on this. Said that they tried to give us this child like, oh, we're saving an innocent child. And then they started noticing the burn marks on the body. And then it turns out that they were burning him. What were they burning him with, Jen? What did they decide to burn this child with?
Cigarette. And I know they put a nail in him. I can't.
The Canary recently reported that IOF, the Israeli occupation forces, tortured a young boy in al-Maghazi refugee camp in the Deir al-Bala governorate of central Gaza. This happened in front of his father, 25-year-old Osama Abu Nasir.
For 10 hours. For 10 hours.
To pressure him into making a confession. Scroll, please. Israel destroyed Abu Nasir's livelihood, causing him to suffer mental health issues. But since the incident, which happened on the 19th of March, there has been no news of Abu Nasir's whereabouts. In other words, he's dead. Concerns are growing for his safety and are made worse by the fact that he is suffering from mental health issues. Until quite recently, he made an income by using his horse to transport people's belongings. But the Israeli occupation killed his horse, of course. And for the past 2 years, Abu Nasir has found himself unemployed, with no means of supporting his family. This has caused him a great deal of psychological trauma and has become mentally unstable. Freelance video and photojournalist Salma Kadiyami visited Abu Nasir's family. She spoke with the Canary and told us, Abu Nasir's home is around 300 meters from the yellow line east of al-Maghazi refugee camp. When he and his 1.5-year-old son, Jawad, went to buy some food, Abu Nasir soon found himself trapped by the IOF. Guys, if you have not smashed that like button, please do it. This is Thursday. This is the night when we have the hardest time breaking the algorithm. So if you haven't smashed it yet, please do so. Israeli occupation soldiers opened fire, shooting him in the shoulder while a quadcopter drone hovered above and ordered him via loudspeaker to place his child on the ground and keep walking towards the IOF near the yellow line. We can play it. We can play it.
Are you sure we won't get flagged or anything?
Yeah, it's fine. And this is a member of the Red Cross receiving this child.
That they just randomly found with nail holes and cigarette burns on him. Yeah, let them try to spin this that's how that his people did that to him. That's the kind of crap they're going to say somehow his people did that to him. Do you have any idea the amount of trauma that this little baby just endured that will now basically affect the rest of his life? And I'm not talking about the physical thing. I mean, that's horrific, but no, watching his dad get shot and being tortured for 10 hours. And so when this kid grows up and he starts setting shit on fire, I'm rooting for him.
Jen, the Zios don't feel safe. Don't you understand?
I am.
Scroll, please, Colin. Kodami says Abu Nasir was then stripped of his clothes, and the soldiers took his son and began torturing him in front of his father. The child was detained for around 10 hours inside the yellow line. The International Committee of the Red Cross called the family to tell them they had received their son. The baby was then taken to a hospital. According to the medical reports from Dr. Bisan Ahmed of Al-Aqsa Hospital in Deir al-Balah, the boy had been abused and had cigarette burns on both legs. Do you understand what type of a person does things like this? Does it to any human, much less a child? This is a person who is devoid of any humanity and should be put down like a rabid dog.
This is what I think. This is what I think.
I want you to get this fuck where he breathes. I want you to find this Nancy boy, Elliot Ness. I want him dead. I want his family dead. I want his house burnt to the ground. I want to go to the middle of the night. I want to piss on his ass.
They all deserve it.
That's how I feel. That's how I feel.
This is a reminder, since Gaza is not really in the news right now, that the genocide is still going on, that the pursuant end of the greater state of Israel is still going on, even though it's like it's a collapsing empire, a mini empire at that, but it's collapsing, and they're not going to stop doing this. You know, the amazing thing, ladies and gentlemen, that you have to understand about a death wish cult that is the Israeli, culture, if you will. Even when it looks like it's all over for them, they're not going to stop killing Palestinians. That's not going to stop. They're going to keep doing it. And this is a prime example.
Well, we're going to get more into that because this particular case of torturing a baby is just one of many. And this will, I guess, flow into our next story when we talk about Francesca Albanese's recent report on torture. But so this is one of many of these types of stories. So, yeah.
Abu Nasir remains in detention in an unknown location. Yeah, that's what they're saying, but I'm not believing it. His family are extremely worried and have been searching extensively for him since October 7th, 2023. The fate of many thousands of Palestinian political prisoners like him remain unclear, and they have no access to legal representation or International Committee of the Red Cross visits. They are forcibly disappeared. With Israel occupation forces, the police and prison services all refusing to disclose any information whatsoever on their whereabouts. Under Trump's 20-point plan for Gaza, as part of the so-called Gaza ceasefire agreement in October of 2025, the first stage of the IOF withdrawal from Gaza was beyond a boundary known as the Yellow Line. This line demarcates the more than 58% of the Gaza Strip currently under Israeli occupation control, and recent reports suggest the Israeli occupation continues to move the line. Oh, really, Jen? They continue to move the line. They continue to move the line. Yeah. You mean like they move the line on everything? Deeper into Gaza, many Palestinian homes and 60% of Gaza's fertile. Oh, I thought it was a desert that didn't bloom. I guess I forgot about that one. Gaza's fertile agricultural land are beyond the Yellow Line, but as Palestinians are prohibited from entering the area, are completely out of reach of them. But instead of withdrawing further, the Israeli occupation aims to ethnically cleanse the area and steal more land. It's like in Lebanon. IOF chief Ayal Zamir recently said, Jen, would you continue, please?
But instead of withdraw, oh, I see what you're saying. The yellow line is a new border line serving as a forward defensive line for our communities and a line of operational activity. What kind of defensive line do you need from people that are unarmed? Since the so-called Gaza ceasefire on October 10th, 2025, as of March 25th, more than 650 Palestinians have been killed by Israel. It is now thought that the number of Palestinians killed by Israel is far higher than previously thought. Shocking. According to independent research in medical journals, there were more than 75. Oh, yeah, I'm not even going to read that number. That's stupid. That's stupid.
They're all still doing
it. With this article. I don't care. There's not 75,000 dead people.
More like
you multiply that by 10 and you're in the ballpark. Multiply that by 10 and you're in the ballpark. And, you know, his whatever 20-point plan for Gaza is never going to happen. It's never going to be accepted. And the only thing I think that's equally as absurd is the 15-point plan that he just handed over to Iran that they're laughing at.
Well, anything you hand over to Iran should be laughed at.
Jawad is a 2-year-old from Gaza. Doctors believe these burns have been caused by cigarettes and the wounds on his legs from a sharp object. Jawad was reunited with his family in Al-Maghazi refugee camp. Hours after witnesses say he and his father were detained by Israeli forces. His family says there was blood on his clothes.
When we first received him, we noticed blood on his pants. His mother examined his body and saw wounds. At first, we thought it might be from shrapnel, but when we got him to the hospital, doctors confirmed these are clear signs of abuse caused by cigarettes and a sharp object. The wound on his leg has both an entrance and an exit, and now you can see his condition.
On March 20th, Jawad was with his father, Osama Abu Nassar, in Al-Maghazi. Witnesses say they were detained shortly after approaching Israel's so-called yellow demarcation line.
This is the area where Osama Abu Nassar was last seen carrying his son. Israeli forces are deployed here. We rushed to reach him, but came under fire from tanks. He was detained by Israeli troops behind that hill with his child, while ground forces fired at us to push us back.
For hours, his family had no information about their whereabouts. 10 hours later, a call came from the Red Cross asking the family to collect their child. Jawad was returned alone.
I just can't.
Come on, damn you.
Asking the family to collect their child. Jawad.
That sweet little kid. What was it that we talked about recently where somebody asked like what you would do or how you would react if somebody tortured your child or killed your child?
I actually feel like that about this baby.
Yeah.
I feel like that about this baby and this mama, this poor mama. Like I'm heartbroken.
And to every last one of you sons of bitches out there that watch this channel and think that this woman, because she covers her face, it's none of your fucking business how they choose to live. None of your business. And the reality is that they don't really care, because at the end of the day, one of the preemptive circumstances associated with the pursuant end of destroying Gaza and taking it over, what was it? There's over $500 billion worth of natural gas under their soil. There is endless amounts of waterfront Mediterranean real estate in the trillions of dollars that could be redeveloped. These people and their culture have no interest in that. And because they have no interest in it, and they're not interested in doing business with the West, they're basically telling them you have two choices. Either you do it the easy way or you do it the hard way. Get the fuck out, or we will kill you and then get you the fuck out. So decide how you want it, because no one's going to stop us. Well, guess what? Maybe the United States is not ready to fully take over its own country again and get out from underneath the conscription that is the Zio-Israeli lobby state. But you know who is about ready to take it over? Iran is. Iran is not backing down, and it has the backing of the other most powerful nations in the world.
It has the backing of every other nation in the world.
Pretty much.
Other than Argentina and a couple other of Trump's bitches that joined his board of peace.
You know, something as stupid as the UN, and we're going to get to the UN very soon. You know, something as stupid as holding a vote at the UN the other day about the condemnation of slavery. Do you know that every nation in the world, with the exception of a handful actually, that abstained from Europe, not a surprise, but every other nation in the world voted yes, condemn slavery. Do you know who didn't vote to condemn slavery? 3 countries. I'll give you a hint. It's the 3 countries that are avidly pursuing the ends of the Zionist state: the United States, Israel, and Argentina. So that should come as absolutely no surprise to anybody. So you want to be
Can we finish this, because this baby's face is freaking me out?
Was returned alone. He was taken to Al-Aqsa Hospital, where medical teams documented signs of abuse. Osama Abu Nassar is now in Israeli detention. Jawad remains another child in Gaza, growing up in a reality where brutality arrives early and leaves a lasting impact. This is the medical report for Jawad. Doctors documented injuries around both knees, consistent with cigarette burns. The report also classifies this as a case of child abuse by unknown individuals.
Oh, they know who did it. They absolutely know who did it. It's just, you know, they're not able to do anything about it, at least not yet. And our responsibility is to make sure that something can be done about it.
It makes
Isn't
me
that
want
right?
to hurt people.